this is your BAFA Librarian, Shannon Jackson. Today I'll be reading the first chapter of The Holiday Switch by Tif Marcelo. This book is one of our new holiday romance novels. Take a listen to this first chapter and then come down to our library to check it out and read the rest. Here we go. Tinsel and Tropes, a holiday book blog. Title, The Devil's Holiday by Katie Fays. Category genre, YA Paranormal. Are those considered evil always wrong? And are those considered good always right? I picked The Devil's Holiday for its sleek black cover, adorned with horns and mistletoe, but was cautiously optimistic. I wasn't sure how the author was going to pull off what sounded like a huge undertaking. Drawing on the ever-popular house switch trope, a la The Holiday, the film, the plot follows a down-on-her-luck demon who is placed on sabbatical and embeds herself with the enemy, angels on Earth, to learn their ways, only to fall in love with, that's right, an angel. Hello, fish out of water, opposites attract, and forbidden relationship tropes. Let's break down the challenges the author had to overcome. First of all, the comp, the holiday. To this reader, those are huge shoes to fill. The only thing harder would be to comp Holiday by the Lake, which I consider, as you all know, the greatest holiday film of all time. Talk about setting yourself up for major expectations. Second, the cast of paranormal characters. I love paranormal. You can check out all the holiday paranormals I have read here. But angel versus demon? How many times has this been done before? I was skeptical. Dear blog readers, I finished this book in one day. In less than 24 hours, my eyeballs soaked in this almost 400-page book, complete with bear shifter side characters and a town so well described I could draw it on a map. And now I have a book hangover. Here's the star on the tree. For those noobs, that means the best thing. And by the way, here's the glossary so you can keep up. The devil is the protagonist. In this world, devil is the hero and the angel is quite the troublemaker. I got to thinking, what if we looked at things and people in a different light? What if what we thought was true wasn't? Pros, quick read and immersive setting. Cons, there were typos, 15 total and sometimes distracting. Recommended for paranormal aficionados, fans of world building, twihards, and philosophical types. You know who you are. Rating, 4 stars. Chapter 1. Saturday, December 11th. The sound of jingle bells rips me from my computer screen, where I'm reading through my latest blog entry. Heart rocketing to my throat, I click on the post button, then slam my laptop shut. From where I'm standing next to the waist-high bookshelf, I dive into the floor, and in a move that would impress Simone Biles herself, land a perfect cross-legged position next to a stack of donated books on a vintage sled. For effect, I pick up a book and hold it up to my face, just as my boss, Miss Velasco, walks in. Lou Velasco's expression is like a beacon of light, as it is every morning. She has a genuine, captivating smile on her face, not a strand of her dark chin-length hair is out of place, and she's wearing the perfect shade of berry lip gloss. Hard to nail, mind you, on a medium tawny skin, I should know. That complements her bookworm-in polo. Palming a coffee cup that reads, "Forget Santa, watch out for me," in bold red letters, she says, "Good morning, Lila. Early again?" I figured I should get started sorting through these books. I steady my shaking voice and resist the temptation to glance at my laptop on the bookshelf. My best friend, Carm, reminds me time and again that my tells are my croaky voice and shifting eyes, so I focus hard on Miss Velasco's nose and not my lingering, ever-evolving thoughts on my blog content, which I have to step up for this holiday season. Because if Miss Velasco knew how many times I arrived early before my weekend morning shifts, or stayed a few minutes after my closing shifts under the guise of voluntarily categorizing books in the gift shop's free library, she would find out that she's harboring a criminal. Okay, that's a little extra. Not a criminal, but a sneak, an undercover. Well, your work shows. She gestures at the shelves behind me, all donated, and the meticulously categorized books that fill them. The Bookworm-in Free Library was a community service project I started when I was in the 8th grade, with one little shelf and a dozen donated books. 5 short years later, the library now lines an entire wall of the gift shop. Thank you. My face warms, both from the compliment and the fact that my intentions have not been purely altruistic. Some might say I'm trying to cheat the system. In this case, my parents' rules about certain types of internet use. but I attribute it to my entrepreneurial spirit. Miss Velasco twists the watch around her wrist. Looks like 10 minutes before we open, and I spy people in the parking lot. I scramble up and straighten my bookworm in sweater. It's a soothing forest green that's supposed to embody the gorgeous foliage of the Finger Lakes region. That's where fictional characters Leo Marks and Estelle Mendoza grew up and fell in love in the beloved 1996 film Holiday by the Lake, based on its namesake novel. The entire movie was filmed in our real town of Holly, New York, and most of its scenes were shot right here on the Bookworm Inn property, owned and operated by the Velasco family for the last 3 decades. Holly has become a major tourist destination as a result, and fans of the movie flock here in droves every holiday season, camera ready to relive their favorite scenes. I'm ready. I'll put this away and open up. Miss Velasco nods, and when she turns, I stuff my laptop into my bag. I really need to be more careful. In my 2 years stealthily blogging behind the adorable anonymous avatar of a brown-skinned, dark-haired, Santa hat-wearing girl, this is the first time I've been close to getting caught in the act, which is not on any of my to-do lists, primarily because Miss Velasco and my mom are best friends, so anything that happens at the inn will get back to her. Secondly, the Tinsel and Tropes blog, or TNT, is all mine, even if it's a secret, and my plan is to keep it that way. Do you know what I think? I glance at the different displays as I approach the front of the store, catching one pair of askew sunglasses and fixing it. What's up? Miss Velasco flips a switch above the automatic double doors and tests them. Previously, the manual doors created a bottleneck at the entrance. Installing it kept traffic flowing, and it is a mitigation effort to lessen germs. And while the increasing crowds finally convinced Miss Velasco to invest in it, I can proudly declare that it was me who first suggested it. That we should attach a louder bell system to the back door, so we can keep track of who's entering the store from the rear. Plus, I'd know exactly when someone walked in. When you work in a gift shop that caters to the holidays, and live in a town that starts its holiday decorating in September and holds out until almost February, it's easy to dismiss the sound of jingle bells. Remember that time when we caught a customer trying to grab back access to the inn? I half laughed, though the situation wasn't funny at all. A superfan of the movie's lead actor, the debonair Jonah Johansson, was convinced that the inn had access to the actor's personal information. The woman figured out that the gift shop back entrance connects to the inn through a passageway and thought it would lead to him. You know what? You're right. You're so on it. I'm sure going to miss you and your attention to detail when you leave us for school in the fall. She takes out her phone and thumbs in my suggestion, but her tone carries a sad lilt despite her smile. How are applications going? Last I heard from your mom, you've been knocking them out. Mixed emotions flip-flop in my belly. I got into my first choice, Syracuse. Her eyes round into saucers and she raises a hand. No way. Way. And in my declared major, bio, I proclaim, and I slap her palm. But beneath my joy is uncertainty. Syracuse is my dream school. And while I qualify for a merit-based scholarship, we're still waiting on the financial aid package. Her expression changes. She brightens like she's having a light bulb moment. No way to the second power. My nephew goes to Syracuse, and in fact, she's interrupted by buzzing, and she slips her phone out of her back pocket. When she checks the screen, it's like someone turned her energy button all the way up. Oh my gosh, I have to take this. Do you mind doing the honors of opening, and I'll woman the registers? Glad to. Grabbing my scarf with the Bookworm Inn's logo embroidered at its ends, I wind it around my neck and on the way out snatched the information flyers about the movie, my free library, and the inn itself, including the few cottages that are available for rent. I take a purposeful step out of the double doors and smile at the approaching eager tourists. Welcome to the Bookworm Inn, home of the famous movie Holiday by the Lake. Yes, it's cheesy. I'm like a Disney World employee, brimming with cheer and good nature, but I believe in Miss Velasco, and I genuinely love the movie and the book. I've proudly worked here part-time since my sophomore year, and this job is a large part and parcel of how I'm going to get myself to Syracuse next fall. I square my shoulders and greet the early bird customers by sticking a flyer in each of their hands as they file through the double doors. Yep, I'm going to make it happen. I have to make it happen, 1 hour at a time. After a speedy 2 hours of work, that included breaking up an argument between 2 customers over who was next in line for a photo op next to the famous canoe, where Estelle and Leo had their first kiss, I get to do my most favorite thing, organize my library. Aligning spines, dusting shelves, and finding the rogue, out-of-place book, it's like I'm being paid to play. I'm balancing 8 donated books against my chest as I enter from the back entrance of the shop, because who's got time for a second trip, when my foot catches on the carpet. As I stumble, the pile trips, and the hard corner of a travel book pokes me in the eye, blurring my vision. I become the Leaning Tower of Pisa with the cables that keep it somewhat all right. Holy fruitcake! Whoa there, Casey Chang, another senior from my high school, easily detected by the smell of peppermint gum, steadies me. He takes an armful of books from the top of the stack. Thanks. I blink back the last of my tears, and he comes into view. He's Chinese-American with fair skin and black hair, with longish bangs swept to the side. And yep, completely against work rules, he's chomping away at gum. But what gets my attention are the limp and soggy posters under his arm. Woe to you! What happened? He grimaces. What do you get when you mix a toddler with an open bottle of water? I make a face. Casey and I, who have worked together for a year, agree that we'd take 100 customers in 20 minutes over any food or drink accident. The gift shop is always packed to the brim with inventory, and one spill requires us to move the displays, which takes up precious time we do not have, especially during the busy holiday season. Yeah, luckily these are the only victims. He lifts the posters. Hi, you two. Miss Velasco sticks her head out from her office. Lila, can we chat for a moment? Sure. When Miss Velasco ducks away, Casey's eyebrows lift. What's that about? I don't know. I did ask her the other day if I could work full-time hours during break. I whisper, wiping my hands on my jeans. My winter break lasts from the 22nd of December until the 5th of January. Every dollar in my bank account brings me 100 cents closer to Syracuse, and I need to earn as much as I can before I graduate. Eeks, good luck. I actually asked for the same thing too, he winces. My heart sinks. I didn't think the other seniors in our part-time crew would ask for more hours. Well, as long as one of us gets it, I lie, because I have worked one more year than Casey, so shouldn't I get seniority? Then guilt runs up my spine. If there's any other part-timer who works as hard as I do at the gift shop, it's him. Wish me luck. Luck. I straighten my clothes as I enter the office. Miss Velasco is at her desk, typing at the computer. The reservations dashboard is up. This office is Central Command. It manages all the aspects of the Bookwork M. Inc., and from the gift shop, the inn, and the community at large. When her mother, Lola May, as she was known fondly, passed away, Miss Velasco inherited the inn and undertook a full rebranding. Not only did she level up our uniforms, change out the gift shop's new floors, and build quaint rental cabins, she also tapped into the movie's fandom. From online private groups to short reels on TikTok, she's on top of the social media game, touting the inn as one of the most romantic places to visit. And it has paid off. Last year, over 200,000 people visited the Bookworm Inn. Watching her is like a masterclass. She's Filipino-American, like me, fiercely independent and doing what she loves. Come on in and take a seat. She doesn't look my way, though she's grinning while her fingers fly over the mechanical keyboard, with each switch backlit in red. Each stroke makes a satisfying clack like an old-fashioned typewriter. Were you bringing in another donation? Yes, Mr. Nadel decided to donate his coveted travel books. That's generous of him. I know, he's changing tactics. Miss Velasco sighs. I'm just saying, Miss V. Mr. Nadel, the proprietor of Holly's only flower shop, Festive Flowers, has a thing for Miss Velasco. He repeatedly appears at the inn for no reason whatsoever. He sent flowers from anonymous, come on, and even fills out our donation jar with dollars instead of pennies to get her attention. I pass the wall of framed family photos to my right and take a seat in one of the cushioned chairs. Since Miss Velasco mentioned her nephew earlier, I scour the photos of a possible shot of him. Sure enough, in one, I spot a young boy in between the two women, one who looks to be a young Miss Velasco. When I look up, Miss Velasco's grin has given way to her all-business, deadpan expression. With your mention of college earlier, I realized I owe you an answer about your request to work full-time. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get back with you earlier. There's a lot going on. Score. My back straightens. Yes, now that I'm 18, I can work full-time until school starts back up after New Year, and then increase my weekly hours. My last semester classes aren't so bad, and I have a couple of extra free periods, so I could leave school a little early. Miss Velasco follows the required labor laws for her under 18 hires and insists that schoolwork is a priority, so all bookworm in high schoolers are considered the super part-timers, working no more than 12 hours a week. I worked most of these hours on the weekend, so it didn't affect school at all. Miss Velasco also encourages us to study during our breaks. I want to thank you for your enthusiasm and hard work, Lila. You're such an asset to the gift shop. She entwines her fingers. I don't remember the last time she did that. At my first interview, maybe? My heart hammers in my chest. The silence is ominous. Me and silence, unless I'm writing, is abnormal and suspicious. At home, it usually means one of my 3 younger siblings is up to no good. At my babysitting jobs, it was a great indication that a child has gone rogue. My mind jumps back to the last time I got bad news and the silence that preceded it. I've got family coming to stay with me for the holiday season, Miss Velasco says. Oh yeah? I blurt out, somewhat relieved at the innocuous news. That's great. I thought your family is all the way in California. They are. My older sister has a son. Teddy, that's my nephew I mentioned, is a freshman at Syracuse University. It's a long story, but Teddy's in a predicament and is staying with me until mid-January. Okay. What I'm waiting for is how this has anything to do with me. This arrangement sounds like drama. Miss Velasco has mentioned her family only a handful of times before. So I'm in this position. The jingle bells on the back door ring, snatching her attention. A man with white hair who probably wandered in from the parking lot lingers after stepping in. Miss Velasco stands and heads to the office doorway. Good morning, sir. This is not the entrance. You'll have to go around the building and enter through the automatic double doors. A mumbled plea follows. Miss Velasco sighs. Sure, just this one time. The man is followed by his shuffling family, literally at his heels, as if the cold shoved them in. A myriad of voices verbalizing relief from the chill. Then comes the gasp. They've probably discovered all the signed Holiday by the Lake memorabilia on the hallway walls. Another thing that elevated the gift shop, the movie props that Miss Velasco managed to bring in. When she finally sits back down, she whispers, "Noobs." We both giggle. We can tell who's new to the inn. They murmur excitedly that the film memorabilia, shoved into every corner and hanging at every available hook from the ceiling. Like the empty popcorn tub used in the scene of Leo and Estelle's first date, when they reached for the same kernel of popcorn. The vintage lighter Leo's grandfather gave him when he died, which he used to light the bonfire when they snuck out overnight. Estelle's pager, from which she received that pivotal message of the final twist in the movie. What do you think they're going to buy, I ask. At Miss Velasco's confused expression, I add, it's a little game we gift shop workers play. It helps pass the time. Miss Velasco taps her chin. I'll bet, with how eager they were, that they're going to buy a magnet and a sweatshirt each. I'll raise you a thimble and a shot glass. We both laugh. Then Miss Velasco's smile slips. She stares at me with a remorseful expression. Dread rises up inside me. You were going to talk to me about something? Yes. Teddy applied for a part-time seasonal position here before you sent your email. Oh. The shock of it leaves me speechless. I was fully prepared to give up my hours for Casey, but not for this. Teddy. And no, they aren't my hours to give away, but the inn is like my second home. My brain undertakes the mental gymnastics to subtract my anticipated gift shop earnings from my bank account. So I'm sorry, Lila. No, I get it. I understand, but if there's a chance here and there for extra hours, I'll take it. I force a smile and grit my teeth. Only the second half of that statement is true, but Miss Velasco has always been kind, and she taught me everything I know about retail. She suffered through the first days when I had no idea how to talk to customers. She broke me out of my shell. I'll just have to make up the hours somehow with babysitting. Great, thank you for understanding. Speaking of, Teddy is on his way here to drop off some of his stuff before he goes back for his last week of school. Her face lifts as another set of jingle bells rings out. Ah, here he is. She stands. A guy walks into the office. He's wearing a hoodie and comfy baggy knit pants with pristine white shoes. His skin is golden brown and he has lush wavy dark brown hair, which he pushes back with a hand. Tiny diamonds stud his earlobes. My jaw slackens. Oh my. Teddy is not the little boy in the picture on Miss Velasco's wall. Far from it. If I passed him on the street, Teddy would definitely turn my head. First, because he's Filipino, and there aren't many Filipino people in Holly. Second, he's cute. Cute in this brooding way that book boyfriends are often described, with prominent dark eyebrows and steely brown eyes. He sets a duffel bag at his feet, and the clinking of several carabiners snapped into one of the straps momentarily catches my attention. Miss Velasco hugs him. "Anak, you look good." She squeezes his shoulders like she's trying to take him in. "I know I am." "Wow, muscles." "Hi, Titaloo." He dips his head as if shy. My brain is still stuck on muscles. "Lila?" Miss Velasco's voice yanks me back, and it's only then I realize I was staring at Teddy. "Yes, I'm sorry. I was looking at, yes, that's me, Lila." One of Teddy's eyebrows lifts, and his lips curl into a grin. The kind of grin that says, "You're interesting, but in a wearing a Halloween costume in December kind of way." My neck heats, and I inwardly groan. This feels like the world's most awkward meet-cute. Miss Velasco half laughs. "Exactly. Teddy, this is Lila Santos. Lily, this is Theodore or Teddy Rivera, my nephew. You'll be working together. All of us will be working together. It's going to be such a special few weeks." "Great," he nods but doesn't say anything else. In the silence, his expression shifts minutely to what seems like wariness. I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or indifferent, but it sets off my penchant for hospitality. I want to douse this weirdness like snow over a campfire. "Welcome to the Bookworm Inn, home of Holiday by the Lake," I announce in perfect welcome pitch, like a Mahali tour guide, volume 8 out of 10. "If you need anything at all, I'm here." Miss Velasco claps. "Great. Let me get you to our cabin. Lila, do you mind manning the fort? We can finish our conversation when I return." "I don't mind." I release a breath. "Please, go before I ask him to sign the guest book." "See you, I guess?" Teddy says, his eyes blank. This guy is obviously not happy to be here. Drama indeed. "Yeah, see you." The two make their way to the back, leaving me in the office with the sound of Bing Crosby piping through the speakers. Teddy's arrival weighing heavily on my mind. I just gave up my hours to my boss's cute nephew. What the heck am I supposed to do about that? And that's the end of Chapter 1. Come down to the BAFA Library to read more.